riding that roller coaster as you go up and down and kind of staying steady through that?
Yeah, I think this is when your resolve as a professional is tested, especially when this is uncharted territory for some. For some. For us, it's just being, as like you said, as consistent as possible, and that's hard. And not a volatile sport, but a sport that has rides the highs. The highs are so extreme, and the lows can be devastating. So for us, it's just trying to stay the course. We know what works, we know what doesn't, and apply ourselves to the things that we know do work on the daily. Compound those, stack those up, and then hopefully towards Sunday and Monday or Thursday, whenever you play, accumulate a bunch of good days and good minutes and reps, and and that gives you a competitive shot to go out on Sundays or whenever we're playing Monday here and compete. This is a sort of tremendous league. Is it's very humbling. It's a humbling league, and I'm not saying that we need to be humbled by any means, but I'm saying that it keeps you on your toes and it makes you reapply yourself every week, and that's why it makes so much money. It's a beautiful league. Every week it can be chaotic if you let it.
About Latavius, that he's been willing to step up a couple of times and take some leadership, even though he's new to the club.
I mean, Latavius has been doing this for a very long time at a high level. The guy who commanded respect just by his demeanor and his ability to kind of talk, like what we just talked about, be that consummate pro, and he's also very personable, easy to talk to. And when you have a guy that kind of embodies all of those characteristics, you're going to have a guy that can bend the ear of a team and command their, just not command their respect, because we already respected him, but, a guy who's just been here for, not a whole year is assimilated in this locker room beautifully, and like you said, taking a leadership role.
When, guys who have been here on the team for so long, like you've been in it for a while, but he has a bit of that outside perspective of, I've seen you guys from afar, now I'm in with it. Like, what can he tell about this offense that maybe is different?
I think it's one of those things that, like you said, when you see teams from afar, you have a different perspective, and then when you're in it, and it was one of those things that, I think we all feel like this offense has great potential, and just because we've had a few bad outings here and there, or haven't executed the way we want to, doesn't mean we're a bad team. It means that if we don't do what we need to do, we're gonna come up short. So it wasn't. I think hopefully it wasn't blown too much out of proportion in this meeting. I think it was one of those things that happens a lot more than you think. It just kind of came to a front. It was not some big, like, stuff's falling apart in this building deal, and I understand how that can come about when this is the first time you hear something like this. This happens in locker rooms all the time. This happened on this team plenty of times here. We're glad that he took the reins on this, and we just have to execute, and I think the big thing is not panic, right? And listen, the outside has their opinions, and they've earned those opinions, right? Like fans, they earn opinions because they are so invested in this team, and we appreciate everything they do. But in the end, if we all listened to what they had to say, I would have been fired after my third game here, or something like that. So we just have to control what we can control and execute. And we're going to have some more ebbs and flows in this season. We're not looking to have them, but we understand that this season it's a unique one in general, and we're going to come out and we're going to try our best. And I'm truly meaning that. We're going to go out there and just try our best and execute at the highest level and bring energy and see what happens on Sundays and Mondays.
From a scoring potential, hasn't been there the last couple of games. Do you feel maybe a little bit optimistic based on what you've been seeing from an execution standpoint that it's there?
Yeah, I think the big thing is when stuff isn't going your way, it's easy to say scrap it all and start over. I think there are things when you look on film that we would like to carry with us. You know, so there are things that are working, and when things are working in the past, and there's stuff that we want to carry on with us, and we just understand that there might be a few other things we have to adopt. So it isn't burn the ship and build a new one. It's we have some rebuilding to do, but it's, you know, we're on the cusp, and I know that's something that I've said plenty of times before, and it can be. I understand the frustration people have with that. You know, it's the NFL. We're not here not trying our hardest to figure this out, because we're all feeling it. We're all feeling frustrated, and we're just not going to let that turn into panic. We're going to make it a sense of urgency and try our damnedest come Monday against a very good rising Denver Broncos team. And I think if you turn on the film, you can see that they're playing very good football right now.
Mentioned a few
Back in
times.
2021, you were 7-6, and then you guys went on to win your next four. To finish 11-6.
Right.
That's something that you guys could build on. And do you talk about that season and say, look, let's just turn it around, and it's been done before?
Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about that. Yeah. Listen, it's how you execute in the end of the season, right? But to execute the way you want to, you have to change. You have to adapt to what's going on, and you have to make necessary changes, like we've talked about before, echoed before. It doesn't need to be everything, and yeah, I really do think it's one of those things that it's not. It really isn't a down vibe here. I mean, we're frustrated that we've lost a few games, and winning makes life a lot easier for all of us. Not from what you think, but it's just like, you go out to play the game to win. We're just taking it one day at a time. And like I said before, we're just trying to compound those moments, and hopefully those lead to competitive football come Monday, and then, the following ensuing Sundays, and we'll see where the chips fall. But we know that we just have to take it one day at a time, one game at a time.
Additional pressure when you see, you already had 3 big defensive injuries, then Christian's down now, Mike is down, Terrell Bernard might be down this week. Is there any more pressure that you guys feel?
When injury, within the injuries realm, I've always felt that it really is the next man up. Yes, those are extremely profound injuries to guys that made such an impact on our football team. It's the nature of the NFL, man. And for us, it's just you try to do your job the best of your ability. And as long as you have 22 guys doing that, no matter what 22 guys are out there, that's when you're living in a place you want to live in.
Not panicking a few times. You're someone who a lot of people point to of like, oh, he calms me down when things are going on, whether it's other offensive linemen, Josh. Is there someone you turn to not panic, or is it all internal for you?
My wife. No, you can't do this internally. You can't do this alone. Speaking of just mental health in general, in the grand scheme of things, right? I always find that you can find someone you can talk to, and it might not be the same person every day. It's an ever-evolving thing. It depends on what's going on in your life. It depends on what's going on in the facility or building. This season is so long, and like I said, the highs can be so high and the lows can be so devastatingly low. You have to find. And I think that's what makes good teams so good, and we have one here, is that these locker rooms are, sympathetic. They're empathetic. Like, it's just something that you don't have to do this alone. And I know that's not totally the answer to your question, but everyone's got someone, and you hope you have a few people. And the thing is, if you're feeling down in this business or just in general, you know that you're not the only one going through it. And it's times when feelings you're having these feelings that you feel tangible, palpable feelings that later in the day or later in life you feel like, how did I have those? These irrational thoughts that felt so real. No matter what it is, you know other people are going through that, and that's when you lean on your friends and the people in your circle, whoever they may be, the hardest. So we have a lot of guys who feel that they can be that to others, and also at the same time have those people that they can lean on as well.
Denver's defense, and it seems as though they're playing a lot better and have held some good teams in check.
No doubt. I think they're playing phenomenal football, and no one here thinks otherwise, right? They've commanded respect through the way they play, the tenacity they play with, their scheme. I think they're just playing good football right now, and we're going to have to bring energy and execution and all that if we want to be able to compete come Monday.
How about like at a time right now, it might be easier to focus on what you guys need to change, but you also talked about how there's some things that you want to carry over. What are some of those good things that you've seen in these past few games that you feel like this offense is
Well, I think, listen, I think effort at times has been phenomenal, right? I think consistency in that's going to be huge, and keeping effort at a high even when things aren't going well, right? It's easy to keep effort high and play as hard as you can when things are going well. We're putting up points. What happens when you have a 2 or 3 and outs? So we'll keep that, and then so it's just kind of marrying that with execution, right? Because you can play as hard as you want, but if you're not executing without fundamentals, you're just kind of out there running around for the love of the game. So trying to marry those. So like I said, there's some optimistic things, but we just got to kind of tighten it up. Yep. Nope. Sorry.
This one's a little off the wall, but the next game will be Poyer's 100th with the Bills specifically.
Oh, that's amazing.
I know you guys don't play together on the same side of the ball, but just working with him as a captain, seeing what he means to this team. What does 100 games as a Bill mean for him?
I think you see Jordan Poyer play football. He only knows one speed and only knows one way, and that's to put his nose into it. And he plays with such passion and such competitive drive, and he wants to win and wants to execute for his defense. And 6 days out of the week, he's very zen, very kind of in tune with himself and everything. And then come Sunday, he's a lunatic. And I think that's boded well for him. And he's been a consummate professional and an important cog in this defense since 2017. And all the success he's earned it's been a hard road. And, I feel like a guy who's been underappreciated for so long in this league, not by his team, but in this league possibly. And he commands respect through the way he plays and the way he leads on defense. Thank you, guys.